I've been coughing for about 2 weeks. I've had fever and I've been miserable. Today they did a bronchoscopy or something, and they went down to look at my lungs. And I haven't had anything to drink in almost 24 hours. And I'm pissed because I'm so thirsty. When you have all these drugs that you're on. I'm on so many chemo drugs. I'm on so many chemo drugs that my mouth is already super dry. Super dry. And I can't go long periods of time without liquids. It's been almost 24 hours. And Aunt Shiny and Fun surprised me when I was out of surgery. And they kicked them out of my room and asked them not to come back until I could drink. Because I'm just not in a good mood until then. I know I should be grateful that I even can drink. But I'm just tired and I'm so thirsty. Today is June 22nd, 2015, Monday.
You don't understand. Like, I've been mentally drowning. Like, you don't understand what it feels like to feel like you're drowning. Like you can't get you have no control over your brain because you're having such dark thoughts and you're ruminating about death and you're having all this anxiety and you're just miserable. All right, hi guys. So I just got some fresh colostrum from our farm, which we don't get fresh colostrum very often because our farmers don't have calves very often. And if you don't know what colostrum is basically the first milk after a calf is born. So me and my husband have been drinking raw milk for about, I don't know, 9-10 months now. We're getting close to a year that we've been on raw milk, and the benefits have been astounding. So while I talk to you guys about my raw milk, I don't know what happened to my camera, but while I talk to you guys about my raw milk journey, my raw colostrum journey, my raw butter journey, all things raw, I'm going to show you guys some of the colostrum that we just got. So for one, if you're interested in getting raw milk or raw colostrum, you're going to go to getrawmilk.com. You're going to put in your zip code and it's going to connect you to farmers in your area. So my husband now, whenever we discuss new locations that we maybe want to live, he always knows to go to getrawmilk.com because he knows that I will not go somewhere where I can't get my milk. He was actually up for a job promotion-ish in Guam, which Guam is so far. And I couldn't even find raw. I didn't even know if I'd be able to get raw milk in Guam. But I felt like the health benefits, I'm sure that there's healthy stuff over there. So I probably would have been okay with it. But in terms of living in the US, I mean, I think in Germany you can get raw milk. There's a lot of places overseas you can get raw milk. But in terms of the US, my husband knows that I will not live somewhere unless I can get raw milk. So that is literally how serious I am about it. So before we get into it, I've already changed clothes. I mean, you guys are used to seeing me bummy anyway. But let me show you my colostrum that we just got. I know I'm all over the place, but you're gonna get some good information today. Okay, so once you sign up for getrawmilk.com, and you pay for a herd share. So basically what happens is, for it to be legal for them to sell you raw milk, you have to buy a herd share. So most farms, it's like between $20 and like $50. You pay that fee one time, and then that means that you're a part owner of the farm, and then that way they can sell you raw milk, because it's like you own the cow, you know, so that there's like lots of weird government stuff. So once you become part of the herd share, these farmers usually have drop-off locations. They drop off the milk somewhere and they give you a pickup location, and you go and you pick up your milk every single week. So me and my husband pay $52 a month for raw milk. We get 1 gallon of raw milk every single week. And our farm is great because they also do bees. They have bees, so we get raw honey from them. They have pasture raised eggs. So here's our raw honey that we get from them. They have pasture raised eggs. So I sometimes go to the farmer's market to get my pasture raised eggs, but sometimes I order eggs from our local farmer. Our farm also has clean meats, but I like to support the guy who's in town, like another farmer too. So I'll go back and forth between the two of them with ordering things. So anyway, every week we order our stuff. I signed up for a special list with our farm because I want the colostrum. I want it to look young and beautiful, because colostrum, I mean, guys, you probably are pausing this video and like looking up benefits of raw colostrum, but hey, okay, you can do that, but keep my video on while I talk to you about it. But anyway, every Saturday we pick up our gallon of milk. I should tell them to switch our milk to glass. I just have not taken the time to go on the website to switch to glass, but we get our raw milk every single week, and this is what it looks like. I also want to tell you that raw milk does not ever go bad. Now, if you buy store-bought milk, it will go bad, but when you have raw milk, it just goes to clabber. So let me show you something. I just labeled this one because we didn't finish it one week because I have been heavy duty culturing a lot of yogurts. So it's been really hard for me to get all my milk down and my yogurts. And so I just labeled this raw milk clabber. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's raw milk is very creamy. Like, do you see all that cream? Can you see all that cream? It's like tons of cream at the top. So I labeled it clabber, and then I make some really good, delicious sourdough breads with this clabbered milk. I mean, it makes delicious. I'll show you the bread. Here is some of the sourdough bread that I have. I know I told you guys I was plastic free. We're almost there. I just got to get rid of the Ziploc bags, but this is some really delicious sourdough bread that I've made with freshly ground wheat berries, because I have a mill and I have stuff about that here on my channel. So I mill the berries and I make the bread with the clabbered milk, which I still got to get this recipe up on the channel. Editing is so hard, you guys. It's so much time. So there's that benefit, that if you get the raw milk, it goes to clabber, and clabber is also full of probiotics. Yes, I love it, and it has changed my life. So anyway, this is the colostrum. And while let me show you guys. Sometimes, so look, they put our name on it, and we don't get it often. So this is about a half a gallon. And what I do is, you see it's kind of separated there. So it's thick. It's pretty thick. Let me show it to you. Okay, so it's kind of thick there. Well, this batch is not as thick as some of them have been, but you can see it's kind of thick. What I like to do is I'll shake it up right now, make sure it's nice and dispersed. And then I have these ice cube trays. And what I like to do is pour it in the ice cube trays, and then I freeze it. Luckily, our farmer had calves again about 2 weeks ago. So I actually got a lot of colostrum within a 2-week period. So I can show you some that I have frozen right now. Here is the colostrum. Once I freeze it, I just put it in these cubes. And what I do is I will just drop one of these colostrum cubes in some water or a cup of milk or my yogurt and let it melt. And then I have a ton of probiotics, because colostrum and raw milk is full of probiotics and all the health benefits. So anyway, while I disperse these into ice trays, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about it. Okay, so here's the thing. So once you realize that you as a human being are made up of bacteria, like your body is literally made up of bacteria, you really start to understand your body. I know that there's a lot of stigma out there about, I wish I could show you guys what I'm doing. I want to show you, but I can't because we just moved. My camera has died. My husband, I don't know what he did with the charger to the camera. I don't know what he did with things got really crazy at the end of the move. And I'm almost done unpacking, but I still haven't found the camera charger or the other battery. And so here we are on my phone. So all I'm doing right now is, as I'm talking to you, is I'm just pouring bits of the colostrum into my trays so that we can freeze it. So that's what we're doing. By the way, these are all my fermentations. This is kefir or kefir, whatever you say. I'm fermenting some black beans, some sauerkraut. All these videos are on the channel, so you can see those. Okay, so what I was saying is, once you realize that your body is made up of bacteria, you start to understand the lies that the government is telling you, because there's people everywhere saying, don't drink raw milk, it's dangerous. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and go into the history of why they tell you not to drink raw milk, but at some point in time, there was some farming issues and people were getting E. coli and all types of crazy infections and things from the way cows were being treated. So I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. You guys have Google, you can go down that rabbit hole yourself. You do not see raw milk or raw colostrum in grocery stores. And so when you get the raw milk and the raw colostrum, you're really getting it from a lot of these small farmers. Like our farm is run by the Amish, and they have impeccable standards to how they raise their animals. And a lot of these people, I know this may not matter to you, like maybe you're not a Christian or maybe you're not a faith-based person, but a lot of these people who do this organic farming are Christian people. They're people with good morals who genuinely want people's families to have access to good products. Now, I know you might say, Sierra, I'm not gonna drink raw milk because I am lactose. Well, here's the thing. Many Americans, many people around the world are lactose because when you drink milk that has been pasteurized, has basically been heated to a temperature, and it kills all of the beneficial bacteria, all of the beneficial enzymes, and so you're left with lactose. Now, when you have raw milk that has not been pasteurized, it contains an enzyme called lactase. And so basically what you're doing when you're drinking milk at the grocery store is you're not drinking the full spectrum. You're basically pulling something apart, and that is why your body is not able to digest it, because it does not have the full component of the thing that you're eating. It's kind of similar to store-bought flour. I know a lot of you guys don't have mills, and I understand, you're busy. You don't have time to make your own bread or grind your own wheat berries. I get it. But if you were going to eat bread, I would highly suggest that you buy a mill and make your own bread, because what happens when you're eating store-bought flour is they basically take the wheat germ, and I don't want to keep going and getting things, but I have all these bags of wheat berries. That is what flour is made of. Flour is made of wheat berries. And when they make the wheat shelf stable, to make the flour stay on the shelf, they have to take out parts of the wheat so that the flour can stay on the shelf for long periods of time. So when they take apart bits of the wheat berries, you're basically not getting any nutritional value. You're not getting the full nutrient. And so that is why our bodies have such a hard time digesting things. That is why people struggle with gluten intolerance. Now, I'm not saying that you might not still have some gluten intolerances when you start milling your own grains, but I don't think you will. I think that if you mill your own grains and you start eating home cooked breads, your body will be able to absorb those nutrients. Now, getting back to the raw milk, that is why so many people are lactose, is because they pasteurize it and they homogenize it and they heat it to all these really bad temperatures. Now, if you guys have time in your spare time, you should go on YouTube and you should look up people of the Maasai, and you can see that they drink like over a gallon of milk a day. They drink so much milk, but also you don't want to have too much calcium because you have to balance it with magnesium. And our soil is very depleted here in the United States. So about 56%, I was reading an article last night, about 56% of Americans are deficient in magnesium. You can go on Dr. Berg's YouTube channel and you can learn all about it. A lot of people who have diabetes, people who have cardiovascular issues, people who have high blood pressure, I've known people in my life who have had high blood pressure and they've done beet juice and potassium. Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. Potassium, a deficiency in potassium is also a reason for high blood pressure. So you can have somebody who's got a super, super, super clean diet, but they have high blood pressure, and it could be because they do not have enough potassium or magnesium in their diet. So I highly suggest you all take some magnesium every single day. I mean, Dr. Berg was saying that some people take up to 2,400 milligrams of magnesium a day. We're so deficient in it. A really great benefit is if your cows are being grass-fed, which they should be, A2 Jersey cows. Those are the type of cows that a lot of raw milk farmers have, is those A2 Jersey cows. They're grass-fed, and so hopefully those cows are eating grass that hopefully has magnesium, and so that's going to make your raw milk very nutritious in calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, vitamin A, vitamin D, and vitamin K2. So anyway, you really want to have all that magnesium and all those good things. So I'm sorry, my brain's going all over the place because there's so many great things. Now, for me, something that I really want to stress is I am somebody who went through chemotherapy. I had a bone marrow transplant when I was 26 years old. And from the time I was, for years and years and years, I would say, I've always kind of dealt with a lot of anxiety and depression, which I talk about that in my why I did the carnivore diet and why I quit. And for years and years and years, I had a lot of anxiety and depression, which I didn't know until I went on the carnivore diet that I had the genetic mutation MTHFR, which you should get tested for, because if you haven't, it could be the reason why you're suffering with anxiety and depression. But needless to say, I went through this bone marrow transplant. I had loads and loads of chemotherapy. As a child being born with sickle cell, they put me on penicillin and folic acid, which folic acid is very toxic to the body, especially if you have the genetic mutation MTHFR, because your body cannot detoxify it. Your body cannot turn folic acid into the active form folate, which is what you should. If you're somebody who's taking a prenatal or a multivitamin, you should be taking a supplement that says folate. It should not say folic acid. So if you have this genetic mutation and you're taking enriched folic acid, which they put folic acid in everything. They put folic acid in the flowers. They put folic acid in all of your bagged foods that you're out there eating. And it can be a major cause for anxiety and depression. But for me, I was not somebody who was eating a ton of, I never have been somebody since I was a kid. Since I was a teenager, I haven't really been eating garbage. I've been eating pretty clean for most of my life, making all of my own foods. And so anyway, struggling with anxiety and depression. Been to every therapist, doing EMDR, doing all of the things, and never quite able to feel okay. There was a certain point in time that I had hallucinations, which I talked about in my beef liver heals video. And I really struggled. And, there was a point in time that I told my husband, I was in the emergency room, and I told him, I'm one of those people. I am just going to have to be on antidepressants. That's what's going to have to happen. I'm going to have to take a pill because I have done everything that I can. Society's telling me, don't eat meat, eat lots of fruits and vegetables, and nobody was eating, I can tell you, nobody was eating more fruits and vegetables than me. The more the depression got, the more I was like juicing celery juice and eating more bananas and juicing kale and spinach and eating more arugula and doubling down on the vegetables, which vegetables have so many anti-nutrients in them unless they're fermented and bioavailable. So even though I'm not anorexic skinny, I 100% believe that my body was severely malnourished because also I was not digesting food. I struggled for years and years and years with just a stomach. I mean, I still am like healing my stomach. And so it never occurred to me, and no doctor ever told my mom, hey, we gave her penicillin. And if you're a lady out there, if you've ever had a UTI, if you've ever had a yeast infection, if you've ever had any sort of antibiotic in your life, those antibiotics wipe out your gut. Like your gut is completely wiped, okay? And this is somebody who not only have I had antibiotics in my life, from the time I was a little girl, I was on penicillin for years and years and years. For what reason? To treat my sickle cell? I don't know. And so I was on penicillin for all these years. I'm on folic acid, having panic attacks as a child because folic acid is literally toxic for somebody with the MTHFR mutation. And I didn't know. And so fast forward, I have my bone marrow transplant. I'm going through all this chemotherapy. And, years after, I'm still having fruits and vegetables, not really eating protein, no eggs, no meat, no beef liver, which you should be eating some beef liver and some beef heart. It's so good for you. It has the highest levels of CoQ10 in it. People are trying to sell you CoQ10 vitamins. You could just get it from the source, from the food. But no doctor ever told my mom, hey, no doctor ever told me, hey, no therapist ever said, hey, you're drowning in panic attacks and you're drowning in depression because we've wiped out every single bacteria in your stomach, and your stomach is literally the vessel to your brain. And so no one ever said that. So I called my husband last year and I'm like, I'm going to have to be on antidepressants. Like I've done everything. And then of course I stumble upon the carnivore diet. Carnivore helped me tremendously. I 100% do not think that, I know people will say carnivore is what healed me. Carnivore is not what healed you. Starving the bad bacteria is what healed you. So when people go on the carnivore diet, what ends up happening is they are not eating any carbs or sugar. They're only eating protein and fat. And so the protein and the fat don't feed those really bad bacteria in their gut, which is why when you stop carnivore and you start eating, a fruit or a vegetable or anything like that, you have problems all over again. The joint pain comes back, the depression comes back because you have not healed your gut. You haven't healed your stomach. And so carnivore is not the answer. Like carnivore will mitigate the symptoms, but carnivore will also raise your cortisol. Like, I don't know if these carnivore influencers are telling you that they're not sleeping at night, because for me, when I was on carnivore, you have to balance all of the minerals. When you're just eating meat and you have too much methionine, how do you say it? Methionine? Is it methionine? That causes super high levels of cortisol, which is why our ancestors and our grandmothers and our grandfathers, that is why they believed in having like a starch and a veggie with their meat, because it lowers cortisol. Like carbs lower cortisol. So anyway, I'm not shitting on the carnivore diet. Carnivore absolutely worked for me, but carnivore is how I stumbled upon raw milk. And then when I felt like carnivore wasn't working for me because I wasn't sleeping, I was constantly jolting all the time. People were like, you're not eating enough fat. Listen, I was eating sticks of butter, but no one ever said you need probiotics. And I know we throw that term around all the time, but you literally have to put good bacteria back into your stomach, because your stomach gets completely obliterated by these Western medicine by these Western medicine antibiotics and pharmaceuticals that they put on all of us. I mean, my husband is like, stop preaching to people, because I just want to tell people, like, you don't understand. Like, I've been mentally drowning. Like, you don't understand what it feels like to feel like you're drowning. Like you can't get like you have no control over your brain because you're having such dark thoughts and you're ruminating about death and you're having all this anxiety and you're just miserable. Like, I have literally lived in misery. How old do you think I am before I tell you? I'll give you a guess. How old do you think I am? Okay, well, I'm 36. I think I look pretty good for my age. So I'm 36. And we're talking years of misery. Emergency room visits. And when me and my husband, bless his soul, like, ladies, this is a whole chit chat. My husband, I remember early on when we were dating, I had a mental breakdown. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I started crying. It was like a day. And I've been on hormone replacement therapy, which we can talk about that here too, because being on chemo, that sent my body into early menopause. Yay. And so I remember there was like, I had spent this weekend with my husband and we were still dating at the time, not engaged or anything. And I just started crying and I didn't know what was wrong with me. And I just was like crying uncontrollably. Like, and I was having all these really dark thoughts. Like, for the first time in my life, I understood people who have suicidal thoughts, because I wasn't thinking those. I wasn't like, I want to kill myself, but it was literally like my brain was telling me to like harm myself. And for about 4 days straight, I sobbed nonstop. And I have a girlfriend she's a nurse and she could probably tell you about it. But I remember calling her and I didn't know what was wrong. My brain was telling me, drive off a cliff, do all this. And I remember, like, it always brings tears to my eyes because at the time I was dating my husband, and we met each other in December, and this happened in February. So you can imagine this is pretty early on in the relationship. Like, early on in the relationship, you know, you want to hide the crazy. Like, you want to be, you want to be the best version of yourself. Like, you don't want people to see your flaws. I mean, if I met a guy and 2 months into dating him and he was like crying, I'd be like, I'm going to just slowly distance myself. And so I remember my husband, he spent the night at my house. We did partake before we got married. Don't judge. He spent the night, and for days I was crying. And I don't know how he didn't leave. And I remember he asked me, he said, do you want me to take you to the hospital? I'll take the day off of work and I'll take you to the hospital. And I was so embarrassed. I said, no, I'll just go. And he's so sweet. He packed me a bag. I didn't know he had packed a bag, and he put it in my car. And I drove to the hospital, and they took my phone, and I just was a wreck while I was there. And the first thing they did was they just told me, they're like, you're having a depressive episode and we're going to give you some anxiety medications. And so they shot me up with some anxiety medications, and then they put a psychiatrist on a couple hours later, and they're like, yeah, we don't know why this happens, but sometimes your brain just does things and we don't know why. And at that point, like, yeah, I've been through a lot. I had sickle cell. I spent my entire childhood in and out of the hospital, my young adult years in and out of the hospital. I, had a bone marrow transplant. I've been through chemo. I dealt with homelessness with my mom. Like, I've dealt with the worst types of instability in my life. The worst, like, so many instabilities. And the doctor just was like, yeah, we don't know. And at that point, I didn't think. I was like, I'm not having trauma right now. I'm not thinking about my life. I don't know why I'm having this depressive episode. I was malnourished, hadn't had meat in God knows when, hadn't had a single probiotic in God knows when. And if you read Weston Price's book or Sally Fallon's book, Weston Price, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration, and then Sally Fallon's book, Nourishing Traditions, and she also has a book, Nourishing Broth, they talk about the lack. People with severe mental illness have a lot of deficiencies with B vitamins. And so there was no doctor that said, hey, we should check your B vitamin levels. They just automatically put me on SSRIs. So because I was in such bad shape, like super bad shape, you know, I got the prescription. My husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, he's still my boyfriend. He's my boyfriend. He got the prescription. I went to his house. We ate food and I took the SSRIs. And like I said, we were partaking during that time in our relationship. And yeah, it, like the little libido that I had, because again, we can talk about hormone replacement therapy and menopause later. It like was killing that even. Like the little bit that I had, it was like killing it. And I was like, no, I cannot walk around being a zombie. So I went to the health food store. I got rid of the SSRIs after about a week or two. And I started taking St. John's wort and ashwagandha. And I started taking a lot of herbs to kill the anxiety. But yes, those herbs were mitigating some of the symptoms, but they weren't fixing the problem. And in my mind, I was like, is this something that I just have to continue for the rest of my life? Is taking ashwagandha and valerian and lemon balm and CBD oil? Are these things that I have to keep taking for the rest of my life to get better? Like, this cannot be that I have to just keep dosing herb. This is why I started gardening, because I was like, I have to grow lemon balm. No, I don't have to grow lemon balm. I just needed to fix my gut. I didn't know that my gut was so messed up in the process of chemotherapy, in the process of penicillin. My poor brain never had a chance because it's been so messed up. So when I got on the carnivore diet, for one, I did feel like the depression got better because I discovered beef liver, which I had never had in my life. The beef liver, like once you have beef liver for the first time and you've never had it, your body's going to be like, oh, I'm alive, life is good, I'm so happy, I am Mary Poppins. Like, you're going to be so happy because it's like your brain just gets like a jolt of like, beef liver and beef heart have all of the essential nutrients and all of the things that you need. Like, you can go look it up yourself. I mean, there's women out there, if you're trying to get pregnant, I mean, when I've been to the fertility clinic, I'm not lying to you guys. One day at the fertility clinic, there was a room of women sitting there. And I was like, hey guys, I know this is really weird, but before you pay them all this money, eat beef liver. It was not well received. I don't recommend you doing that because they just looked at me. I was like, okay, good luck. Bye. I mean, who wants to pay? I mean, we've been paying thousands of dollars, so I was trying to save them some money. So anyway, you know, beef liver on the carnivore diet was the first, like, oh my God, it's amazing. And then I discovered, I was like, raw milk, like, let me find out about this. I was like, if this is what carnivore is, let me find out. So anyway, needless to say, I ended up finding raw milk, raw colostrum, and then I started learning about probiotics. And the thing is that there's all this stigma around raw milk and raw colostrum, but it has the bacteria in it, you guys. Like, if you can diversify your gut microbiome, the healthier you will be. You guys, I have every single year, and I've been wanting to make this video for not this video, but I've been wanting to make a video for the longest about my fermented garlic, about all of my flu bombs, things that I will take to help a flu bomb, whether it's oil of oregano, horseradish, onion, garlic, cayenne pepper and lemon, elderberry. I know how to make all the tonics to cure the illness because every single year, for years and years and years, I have been in the emergency room with high fever, 103 degrees, sick, like so sick, like thought I was dying. And ever since, I know it hasn't been a full year that I have been on raw milk, but my husband, I've been exposed to so much sickness, and I got the immune system of freaking Iron Man. Like, I'm indestructible, baby. Okay, I'm indestructible because I have been working on my gut. I drink raw milk. I drink raw colostrum, the probiotics in the milk. The government is going to tell you, it's raw, it's bad for you. I just want to say, listen, I'm your sister friend and I'm a little bit of conspiracy theorist, okay? But I want you to know that they don't want you to get well. It's $1 billion industry. Why would they not ever tell me something? There's so much. This is 2025, okay, you guys? This is 2025. We have so much information, and you're seriously telling me that a doctor can't tell you, like, hey, we wiped out your bacteria, like, you need to take a probiotic to fix your gut lining. You're seriously telling me that psychiatrists and psychologists and psychiatrists, that why are they not educating to tell them before they put people on SSRIs, like, hey, like, let's check your B vitamins. I know Netflix is telling you not to eat meat, but even if you don't eat meat, like, where are you getting your B vitamins? Because if you don't have B vitamins, that can be the source of hallucinations, crazy ass thoughts, like, we did all kinds of array in your brain. Your body is made up of the same stuff as the earth. Today I was looking at my husband in the eyes. He thinks I'm so weird. I was like looking in his eyes. I was like, babe, there's like 1 million blood vessels in your, it looks like the weeds in the ground. Like, once you realize, like, we're made up of the same stuff, you start realizing bacteria are important. Phosphorus, magnesium, potassium, these are the essentials of your health. If you don't, do you know what you got to give plants when they're not doing well? The first thing people will be like, give it some bone meal. Yeah, because bone marrow, bone meal, the animals help sustain us. I'm not trying to preach to you, but I want you to understand, like, if you're like, I've had a hard life. I've had a very hard life. I've already talked to you guys about so many things I've gone through. I've taken all the things. I've been to acupuncture. I've been to the doctors, and I'm telling you, like, nothing has sustained me. My husband thinks it's miraculous that I haven't gotten sick in almost a year. At one point, he got sick, and I never got it. Because listen, I take this stuff like it's my drugs, okay? I will never not have it. The second thing I want to say is, why are you willing to go to Costco and, like, take all these supplements? Like, what do you guys think people did before all the supplements existed? Because if, like, I don't know about you guys, but I get overwhelmed with the amount of supplements out there. And you're like, no, it's because people had a broad spectrum diet and they were able to get this stuff through food. God says something in the Bible about the land of milk and honey. All due respect to Dr. Ken Berry, but honey is so healing to the body. Dr. Berry says, oh, it's animal sputum. Honey is healing. It's been taken for centuries. You guys, food is medicine, and medicine is food. It is not God's will for you to live in anxiety and depression. That is not God's will. For you to be walking around chasing, this and that and this and that. It's very simple. Like, once you start recognizing that all sickness, every sickness, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, heart attack, stroke, cancer, all disease starts in your stomach. All disease starts in your stomach. If your stomach is fucked up, you're fucked up. Your brain's fucked up. Your joints are fucked up. I've had joint pain. My bone marrow transplant anniversary, my bone-iversary. I'm going to dress up like a cow this year for my 10-year bone-iversary. I have been walking around in agonizing joint pain for 10 years. They told me that I had avascular necrosis from the chemo and the steroids in my joints. And I thought that was just the way of life for me, that I had to be in pain forever, feeling like a 90-year-old woman in my 20s, because right after that transplant, oh boy, it was bad. Oh boy, the pain was bad. Oh, it was so bad. Like, I could cry just thinking about it right now because the pain was so bad. And I told my husband, like, well, first when I went on carnivore, the joint pain went away. But now I'm eating fruits and vegetables and I'm not having the reactions. I'm not having the joint pain. Joint pain is tied to your gut. It's all connected. It's all connected. The whole body. It's connected. I feel like I'm gonna have to split this video up because it's getting really long. Raw milk, I want to go back to what I was saying. You're willing to go to Costco and you're willing to buy this collagen supplement and that collagen supplement. Listen, don't get me wrong. Like, even though I drink raw milk and I consume probiotics, I also take type 1 and type 3 hydrolyzed collagen peptides. You want to get hydrolyzed because it's more bioavailable. I do take that, but I also get it from the source. So why are you willing to go buy all the supplements, but you're not willing to get it from the source? I just want you to get well. My mom and my aunts are all on raw milk. I've put everybody I know on. My sister-in-law's on raw milk. My husband was severely lactose before raw milk. If we were to go get ice cream or something, oh, he'd be like, oh, and you don't want to be around the man, okay? On raw milk, he's not lactose. I'm not gonna lie to you. At first, when you first start this stuff, you may have some adverse reactions because your gut's like, whoa, we've been eating Flamin' Hot Cheetos, okay? Like at first your gut might be like, whoa, what are you doing? But once your body adapts, because my sister-in-law's roommate had some weird reactions with the raw milk, but that's because her gut, all the symptoms that my sister-in-law told me about her roommate, like I've experienced them all. She has to heal her gut. Her gut is just so, and is it called dysbiosis? I think it's like gut dysbiosis. But I'm telling you, you guys, you have to diversify your gut microbiome. Raw colostrum, raw milk is a natural probiotic. It has so many vitamins and minerals. It's got immunoglobulins. It will help your immune system. You can do the research yourself. If you go to, I'm going to put a website here on the link in the description, but there was one woman, I read about this one woman, and she was on hospice and she was a vegan. And somehow her neighbor ended up having to take care of her on hospice. And the lady was like, I'm vegan till the end. And she was like, well, I'm taking care of you. Will you just try the raw milk? And so she was willing to drink the raw milk. She was on her deathbed. She's like, you're going to, And the lady got up out of her hospice bed. I don't know if she lived, but she got out of her hospice bed. There was one mom, you can read these testimonials. I think they're on Weston Price's website. But there was one mom, her son had cancer, and she drove 3 hours every single week to get her son raw milk. And he got better. You guys, they're eliminating things that we have been having for centuries. Humans, before we had all these antibiotics and before we had all these supplements, we had the animals. We did have the forest, but it is life-changing. It's changed my life, and I feel so incredibly grateful to God that I don't have to walk around in such despair anymore, because for years I've been living in despair. For years I've cried in despair, ruminating about death all the time, scared to go to bed at night, afraid, terrified, panicked all the time, panic attacks, not being able to leave the house without a purse full of CBD oil, ashwagandha, valerian. I leave my house now with all those things. And I wake up and my sleep is getting better. My sleep is not perfect yet, but the days that I'm taking progesterone, I'm 8 hours, baby. The days off the progesterone, I'm more about 6 hours. Like, I'm waking up when I'm not on progesterone. Today I woke up at like 4:49. I was like, whoa, I slept through the night and I didn't wake up at like 2 or 3 a.m. I'm literally taking reuteri, bifidobacterium infantis, bifidobacterium longum. You can look this stuff up. I'm taking raw colostrum, raw milk. I'm taking these things every single day. And, you know, my nails are healthy. I mean, I broke a couple nails because I haven't been good about filing them. My nails are healthy. I fried my hair in the reuteri video. I don't know if you guys saw that video, but I totally fried my hair. I should have read the directions before I started blow drying dry hair. I had to cut off 6 inches of my hair. My hair is like up to here right now, you guys. I'm depressed. Anyway, I'm not depressed actually, but I'm not ruminating. I think the last thing I'll say, because I'm gonna end up turning this video into, I'm gonna do another video on the health benefits of raw milk. I'll give you guys some more facts about it. I guess this was more of a testimonial video, but I'm not having pain. I'm strong. I'm healthy. I've had, like, to me, it just shows me your body can heal. Your body can, and it will heal. The fact that for years and years and years, I've had enormous white windows on my fingernails, and like, it's like the better I get, the ridges have gone away. I had terrible ridges in my nails, and those white windows are going away. Everything is just getting better for me. I mean, of course, my great hope is that, you know, it could heal my ovaries. I mean, right? Like, this journey is always like wanting to be a mom and wanting to have my own kids. And, you know, I'm always hopeful that all these changes, like changing my gut microbiome, like maybe that'll send a signal to my ovaries. That is like the great hope for me. But you guys, you have to start taking probiotics. Even if you don't do raw milk, you have to do probiotics. Raw milk, raw colostrum has saved my life. Find a trusted farm, get this in your diet, because it's been one of the single most amazing things in my diet. Beef liver, raw milk, beef heart, raw colostrum have been game changers for me. So anyway, I'm a culture lady now. I'm bringing you guys all the cultures. I've started a kombucha starter to start my own kombucha. Kombucha. I like to say that word, kombucha. I'm having all things probiotic because it makes me feel so good. And I know that you can get better. If you feel like you're mentally drowning, if you feel like you can't get out, you can get out. I believe that for you. I believe that it's your gut. I believe once you fix your stomach and not avoid foods, like carnivore is all about elimination, cutting everything out. I'm not cutting everything out anymore. That's like extreme way of living. I'm starting to eat things again. I'm eating apples. I'm not having a panic attack after eating an apple because my stomach is starting to heal. Here on the channel, I'm also putting some soup recipes on here. Soup, broth is your best friend. If you can make broth at least once a week, chop that stuff up, throw it in the Instant Pot, and have broth every single day. Me and my husband have broth every single day. The broth with the probiotics will heal your gut. You have to nourish your body, and your body will nourish you. Okay, I'm getting off my soapbox. Let me show you guys this colostrum. It's so dark in here now. Let me show it to you right now. I'm gonna pop these in the freezer, and then I guess the other one I'll do tomorrow because I think I ran out of space. Okay, so here is my colostrum. I'm about to pop these in the freezer, and then I'll do that one tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I'll do the health benefits of raw milk. But yeah, while we put this one away. Anyway, I love you. I'm rooting for you. I want you to mentally feel better. I want you to not get sick anymore. I want you to have a long and abundant and rich and fruitful life. That's what I wish for you. Okay, love you. Bye.